Um, on this team, like, is there anybody who on this team is, from a business side of things, is up for potentially big contract extension? Like, if you look through the roster, like, who are those guys? If there's one of them, if there's five of them, six of them, whatever it is, who are those guys you're looking at that the Saints need to lock him up, get him an extension, pay big bucks for?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like I think their free agents next year kind of bring them right up to like where the mentality is of the team building. Like the expiring contracts are like Taysom Hill, Demario Davis, Foster, Cam Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Alontae Taylor, Rashid Shaheed, and Penning are kind of the headliners. Colin Saunders, I think, is on there too. But like there's kind of like a split there, and it just kind of really depends on what direction they're going with the team. And if you really are leaning into the rebuild and trying to get younger and better and all this stuff, like, does it make sense to bring back Taysom and Demario and Cam and Tyrann? And, it's just kind of, I think there's probably a cost preposition on some of that stuff. Like, you're probably very willing to pay for the leadership of guys like Tyrann and Cam and Demario, but, like, the significant investment is a tough sell. And I don't think Tyrann or Cam would need it at this point in their career. They don't right now, but like a guy like Demario, if I'm Demario, like I'm probably trying to get out of here. I don't know, like I could probably go get paid and actually help like a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. I feel like he's still at that point in his career. And if you're the Saints, like, are you paying someone to stick around? Like, I think you kind of got to see what happens this year, but I lean more into the, like, why are you paying guys that aren't going to be part of this, 2-3 years from now, like significant money? 1-year deals to Cam and Tyrann, kind of the way they did it, would still make some sense to me, at a very low cost. But the guys I'm trying to pay are Alontae and Shaheed, and I probably got Shaheed at the top of that list. Like, I feel way more comfortable paying him than anyone else. And if you're going at it with like a younger quarterback, I'm willing to make that bet right now on him to kind of, save a little bit. I do think there's some risk there. I don't think he's the most polished route runner yet. That's something that's kind of been an ongoing process. And, the injuries last year, I think, set him back. He was kind of showing good improvement under Keith Williams and he got hurt. Maybe, if that keeps developing and he keeps being this, like, big play guy, like, I think he could, like, really, really break the market if he hits it and stays healthy. But those are the guys. Like, it's a fascinating time right now. And, the team-building philosophy, I think, is kind of just at odds with the mentality of the franchise, too. Like, they're very, very loyal to their guys. And, like, they're the type of team that wants to keep, like, a Demario around forever. But, like, there are legitimate questions. And it's not, like, I think he's a great player. I think Demario's probably a guy that should be, like, scratching the Hall of Fame with his resume. Like, I just don't know if he got, like, the All-Pros and Pro Bowls to kind of put it together, but he should have. Like, I think he's that type of talent. I think he's still a really, really good player, but, like, doesn't make sense going forward. It's a fascinating time right now.
All right, Nick, we're going to finish this off. We'll give you a little rapid fire. See where Nick Underhill, neworleans.football, see where his mindset is going into the season on some specific people and their targets and their stats for the season. So you ready for a little rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Alvin Kamara, rushing yards, over under 950 yards.
I'm taking the under on that for sure.
For sure?
Don't love that.
It's never hit 1,000.
I know.
I think there's better depth at that position, and I don't want to see him getting 220 carries.
Okay, very good. So let's go to his total all-purpose yards at 1,500.
Oh, that's tough. That's a good line, man. I'm gonna take a slight under, just a barely under it. If you had said it at like 1450, you would have talked me into the over. So
I think he was like 14, like 47 last year. Yeah. So being that we finally have like an offensive-minded coach, I kind of bumped up everybody's kind of averages a little bit just to give you a little heads up there. I think he was close to the 900 rushing last year, I think. So, anyways, all right, let's move on. Rashid Shaheed, over under 900 yards receiving.
I'm going to take the under. I mean, like, the total passing yards, I think, is probably – what was Caleb at last year? Caleb Williams, like 3,400 or something like that, 36. Like, I think you're under 4,000. So, like, I would I'm gonna probably like cut off your next one, but like I'm probably gonna take the under on both like Rashid and Olave, just because I don't know that the volume's gonna be there.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were looking at the stats. With both of them had injuries last year, but they had big numbers in the games that they did play. Like Olave had 700 and something playing in less than half, 8 games, something like that. So yeah, I guess that'll bring me to the next one. I put Chris Olave based on the numbers he was showing. I even kind of like went down on his average per game at 1,200 yards over under.
I think he's going to have like a season that looks like a 1,200-yard season on film. Like you're going to be blown away by some of the stuff he does. But like I don't know that anyone's getting that high. Like Shuck would have to be Shuck or Rattler, but no QB controversy here. Like one of them's going to have to be really, really good to get to that point.
Okay, let's go with Mr. Brandon Cooks. Based on your answers, I'm going down a little bit. Receiving yards over under 350 yards.
I'll take the over. Yeah, I think I'll take the over. If he's healthy, I think he gets it. What was that?
We're going to see some bow and arrows this year?
I think a few. And look, I like the way he's carrying himself this offseason. He just set up a throwing session at Nike headquarters, and Beaverton got like the whole team out there. I think he's building comfort. He worked out with Rattler wasn't there because he was doing his youth camp in South Carolina. But he made a trip down to Arizona to work with him. Like I think he's really doing a lot to like ingratiate himself, and I think like the chemistry with the quarterbacks. I'll take the over on 350.
Okay, last 3 here. Rapid fire. Rimmer. Rapid fire. Total TD passes over under 33.
I'll go under.
Total sacks. Defensive. This is our only defensive one here. This defense stinks. Total sacks over under 39.
Man, I don't like the D line. I'm going under.
Okay, that's very average of the pack.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's very average. Total wins. Here we go. Over under 5.5.
Yeah, I've been saying 5, so I'm under. That. Man, you got me like I'm Mr.
Pep. Nick, you hate the Saints.
Man. All right.
Me and Hester is trying so hard to be fans. You're really making it tough, Nick.
I think it's going to be a fun 5, though. Like,
there you go, a little fun 5. I like that.
He went under on everybody.
Fun 5. Over on Brandon Cooks, 350.
Brandon Cook, bow and arrow.
Let's go.
Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe I'll come back with a better attitude next week.
Big Brandon Cooks guy.
Well, also Nick, he knows the Saints as well as anybody. I'll leave that there. Nick Underhill, neworleans.football is the website. If you want to try to know the Saints as well as Nick and the team do over at neworleans.football, sign up for the site today. Nick, we appreciate it as always, and I look forward to seeing you down in training camp here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.